Coach, whether it's yards per play, points per drive, whatever measure, you guys have been more effective on offense with Kenneth Walker out in the field. Curious if he's earning a higher percentage of reps as a result.
Yeah, I mean, we take like stats into account on how effective we are and who's out there, but we have a plan on how we want to use our guys, and both guys are playing high-level football for us. Both guys have things we want to work on. We love both guys. Both guys are to keep playing for us.
I think you said after the Pittsburgh game that the opportunities were there more for Ken than I think were Zach in terms of the blocking.
Yeah.
Have you found that to be the case since then as well?
I haven't thought about it in those terms much since the Pittsburgh game, but I think that might be a fair statement. Yeah, I think it might be a fair statement. And Zach had a lot of our short yardage carries, like low red zone carries too, where there's not a lot of room.
When you take a look at game planning this week, are we to the point in the season where it's easier because of the sample size and maybe with the Texans just the crossover opponents that gives some familiarity?
Well, it's never easy to game planning. I think it's more we're learning who we are, and so that's streamlining a lot of our decisions in all three phases. So, and that's the way you want it. You know, you don't want to be reinventing the wheel every week. If you're doing that, you're probably searching for answers. So, that's a positive thing.
Their defense is putting up some pretty good numbers. What do you see on that side of the ball that kind of impresses you?
Yeah, it's a hallmark of a DeMeco Ryans defense. We've seen him a few times when last couple years when I was in Baltimore, or his first year, I guess. Excuse me. But they play hard. They attack the ball. I think they their pressure system is impressive in all three downs, and they got great players and they play together and good sound attacking diverse defense. So a good defense.
There's been an emphasis on hiring offensive coaches around the league for a while, and obviously you and DeMeco are both defensive-minded head coaches. What do you think defensive coaches bring that maybe people miss out from an offensive perspective?
To give you a good answer, I'd have to think about it. I just, my pitch was, look, you're hiring me. Like, you know, this is the guy that you're going to have to go to work with for the next, hopefully a lot of years. And this is the vision of what we want to try to create. And it felt like our visions were aligned, and that's what made it so exciting. So I think that happens in all three phases. I mean, you see John Harbaugh, special teams. A lot of times, frankly, like the skill set of being a great coordinator doesn't always align with being a great head coach. It's completely different jobs, honestly. So, yeah, I'm glad they chose me.
Mike, both you and Houston are top four in points allowed on defense. What is the mindset that it takes to, not to let opponents score? What is
That's it right there. There's a standard. People don't. It hurts when teams score, man. Like, it's take a lot of pride in doing what you do, and number one thing that wins games is points. But things don't always go your way. There's a resiliency. We use the term relentlessness to it. There's connection involved. You got to play together. You can't have guys making independent decisions on their own. It's all got to be within the framework of the defense and the team. And I don't want to speak for DeMeco, but I feel like they have that there, and I feel like I know we have that here.
When you look at Stingley, the passes defensed in the last couple of years certainly jump off the page. What is it about skill set or technique that you could point to on that?
Well, he's an aggressive player. He's opportunistic. Good ball skills. Stays square. Movement ability is good. He's fast, smart. He's a great all-around corner. Does a great job.
Mike, free agency can be a little hit or miss. You're talking about guys coming to new schemes, new teams, new locker rooms, all that. In one offseason, to be able to get Sam, Cooper, D-Law, like what they've added to this team, just how maybe rare and helpful is that to get those kind of guys in one free agency?
Well, yeah, I'm very extremely helpful excited that we have them, and I'm thankful for the relationships that we had. I'm thinking of AD with DeMarcus, Coop with Jake Peets, Clint with Clint with Sam. So I think those prior relationships are important. Understanding who you're bringing in to your organization. So, and our personnel side does a phenomenal job of, and I think as we're going here, aligning about having a shared understanding about how we want to operate, who we want to be on our team, all that type of stuff. I think that's helped the whole process over the last year.
All three of those guys seem to have taken on pretty big leadership roles. Is that hard for a guy coming in normally after years in another place to step in?
I think it's kind of just reflective of who they are. I've been around great players that were free agent acquisitions that weren't leaders because that was more their personality, but they were extremely helpful to the team, and been around guys that have come in and, I'm thinking of the guys we've acquired, thinking of the guys like Roquan and Eric Weddle that they came right in, and, Ernest even though it was a trade, but it's really the same idea.
Back to the running backs, Mike. What do you like about Charbonnet in his 2-minute back?
What do I like about Charbonnet is what?
The 2-minute back, in a 2-minute drill.
Oh, yeah, he's got great hands, great with the protections, decisive. And Ken can do those things too. It's not like a either or type of thing, but I think Zach's excellent at it.
The Texans have the highest explosive pass rate against zone coverage, and they're next to last against man coverage. I'm curious, what makes an offense explosive against zone versus man?
I think there's several answers. A lot of teams hunt man. They hunt certain type of zones, so you have to have a feeling for how they're operating and what you do well too. I mean, if teams are great against the blitz or great against 4-man rush, it's not like we're just not going to 4-man rush. Or if they're not good versus the blitz by the stats, doesn't mean that you get what I'm saying. So I think that's one way. I mean, sometimes it's just simple as they got great receivers that can separate and work down the field, which is I think the case sometimes with the Texans. They do a good job, and the quarterback throws accurate ball and they protect them. Similar to when you see explosive plays with our offense, those are common threads on what creates explosive plays. But zones too. I mean, by definition, zones have holes. So it's about finding those things, and quarterback needs time. You got to have the right thing dialed up, that sort of thing.
Drake Thomas has seemed to really kind of emerge the last couple of weeks, and the sack he had the other day. Just
Yeah.
How have you kind of seen that? I guess him grow to. It seems like he's now just basically an every down player for you guys.
Yeah, I think Drake's story is really awesome. I mean, we showed up, and our personnel people had a really high opinion of him. He was a player that I wasn't familiar with before we got here, and he's injured at the beginning of last year. But he's a guy. He's an example of a guy that came back early from his injury because of how hard he worked, how he attacked the process, and he's the same guy every day. He's 100%. He's all in. He's attention detailed. He understands adjustments, understands game plans. He's tough as nails. I think he's a good athlete. Does a lot of positive things. I mean, he's made a lot of plays on special teams. But this is the guy that we saw all offseason too. When players tell you who they are, believe them.
You made on the tackle for the sack, get some good reaction when you showed it to the team.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, the guys were fired up about that one. That was cool.
Do you like how those snap counts are looking for Drake, or would you like to get T. Knight in there a little bit more, or do you like the consistency?
Yeah, these things, I mean, they're never set in stone. I feel like we've proven that over the last couple of years. It's always who we feel like is going to give us the best chance to win for that moment. But a great example with Tyrese is he went into the game after Drake, I think he hurt his finger, and they ran a trap pass right behind him in cover 3. It was a great reaction, played underneath the trap pass. I think we either got a sack or a tackle on that play for no gain. And it's a great example of being ready, staying ready, coming in, playing to the standard when we go out there. So both guys are deserving of playing time, but right now, Drake's playing great football.
Thomas, what's the value in the locker room to seeing a guy like that earn his playing time that way?
Well, we believe in development here. We said this multiple times, but players are allowed to get better and improve, and they can come from anywhere. And if you're going to put yourself in a position to help us win, then we're going to play you.
I'm sorry, with Eman Warrior, you said that he plays, I can't remember how you worded it, but he plays your style of football. Are you talking about mentality-wise?
Yeah, he's like it's hard to shake him, and he plays physically. I mean, that pops up on tape. He just kind of naturally goes. You know, he's not a timid player. He's an aggressive player. He's a decisive player, and he wants to be really good, which makes him a fun player to have on your team, and a fun guy to work with every day.
In the few weeks that he's been out there now, have you seen growth in his ability to just like kind of cut it loose and not?
Yeah, that's an area that that's going to come with more reps and experience and more confidence and all that type of stuff. But I get it. You know, he's very conscientious. He wants to be doing it right, which you appreciate. And he'll learn to make some decisions a little faster in real time as he goes. But it's not like the guy's just like standing out there. I mean, the guy's playing really well for us. It's just we're chasing edges here. We're trying to take it to the next level.
Is Spoon going to practice today?
He'll be out there. Yeah.
What about Julian?
Yeah.
Julian will be out there.
How about Reed Woolen?
Reek will be out there. It's a fun game.
It feels like you're guessing.
What about Jaron? Any update on him? Jared Reed?
To my knowledge, Jay Reed's good. Yep.
People focus on offensive line for pass protection, obviously. When you want to target a running back or a position other than the offensive line in your pass rushes, is that harder, easier? How does that work?
Depends. Depends on how teams operate. You feel like if there's an opportunity there, you feel like you got to consider who's rushing on your end. Timing of the play is important. You can blitz 3 guys through a gap, but you're going to have some holes in the defense, and you'll guarantee the backs block, but sometimes that's not the best thing to do.
When you looked at your third down offense, maybe outside of like the last 2, I think 1 for 10 before that final drive. What did you make of that? And I guess what have you made of your third down numbers on offense for the season?
I think it's a team emphasis on how we want to improve. So we've had good plans. I think if you asked our offensive coaches, I think we could have better plans. We've had good execution. I think we can have better execution. You know, there's some plays where, hey, we got to be able to run a route more decisive and be in the right spot because that's the timing that's needed for that play. Sometimes it's, maybe Sam needs to pull the trigger quicker and needs to progress. It's like a detail here or there, which tells me that we got to keep just staying the course. When you're detail out and it's kind of varied by each position group and there's not like a common thread of something that like screams change. Just stay the course. Stick to the details, keep attacking it, and it'll come to life more. But we've done a lot of great stuff on third down too. I felt like we've protected Sam really well, and he's playing decisively on third down as well.
How big of a difference is it for a defense to prepare for a predominantly zone rushing team versus a predominantly gap rushing team?
I think a lot of it's based off what your offense runs. If you see wide zone all camp, like when we see wide zone, we have a pretty good idea of what we're good at and that sort of thing and how to play it, how many times we need to see it. Gap scheme, we've seen it a good amount. Our offense runs it, but, it's a little different for us. So I think the reverse is true to a certain extent. But there's different fronts you want. I mean, like how many guys you want on the line of scrimmage, how many guys you want off. Is it good to move? Is it not good to move? Is it good to plug guys, or is it good to have that guy in like the second level so now you can overlap? I mean, those are all the things that you're thinking about. How does it affect play? Like like they're allowed to pass it too. Like how do you handle the play action pass and the movements off of it?
You see the Texans' run game as being meaningfully different than the other rushing attacks you've seen so far?
I'd say like it's a same tree, different branch. A little more gap than we've seen, similar to Tampa. A little less pullers in Tampa. But I mean, they're running all the stuff that the NFL runs.
Are Christian Haynes or Jonathan Hankins are guys who can come off? But
No update on those guys. Yeah.
How did the tackling improve in Jacksonville, and how much?
I think it did significantly. I think it's a function of the guys. One, just decided to freaking tackle and get after it. And 2, I thought like our angles were great. I thought the guys played extremely hard. The guys made a collective decision that they were going to play our style of ball, and that showed up in our tackling.
In your run game on offense, how much of, when it's not working from what you've seen, how much of that is just simply communication and guys knowing what to do, who to block, stuff like that?
I don't think it's a communication issue. I think it's a matter of just getting it done, honestly. how we scheme it, that's under evaluation, as with everything. How we schemed against Tampa Bay was under major evaluation from me. I'm talking about on defense. So like we're evaluating everything all the time, but it's not just like, hey, our communication stinks. That's not the reason.
So more of like an execution thing, you're saying?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And in explaining why you guys have been so good on the road, you've mentioned like your team's connectedness, and I think their mentality as well.
Yeah.
When you look at the home performance, is the mentality different, or what would you say there?
I don't think so. Like when you start attributing success to like, it's hard to do that because I think it's like it's the whole thing, right? It's kind of the synergy behind everything. If we knew what exactly worked, we would do it every time, and we just hit the button and rinse, repeat. If we knew what was like exactly how we could win games every time at home, trust me, we'd be mashing that button, as many times as we possibly could. But what I can tell you is we're chasing it, we're determined to do it, and our guys are determined to do it. But I really don't believe you have to like change course, take a detour. It's about if we play our best football, we're gonna have success at home, and we just got to play better football when we're at home.
When you said on the radio that you had thought about making the home games?
No, absolutely not.
In terms of the noise when you guys are on defense, is that a factor at all between these?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, sometimes it's just can EJ hear me or not? Like, sometimes it's that simple.
Is it the same from guys trying to hear him as well? Has he mentioned that?
Yeah, I mean, you add noise to the communication equation, it's going to be harder.
Anything else?
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.